Observers note that the exchange fits a familiar pattern in US-Venezuela relations. Since the rise of Hugo Chavez and later Nicolás Maduro, Washington has repeatedly used allegations of corruption, terrorism, and narco-trafficking to isolate Caracas diplomatically. Venezuela, in turn, has portrayed these claims as tools of imperial control. What makes the current moment distinct is the scale of the military posturing. Trump's deployment of warships coincides with Venezuela's mobilization of tens of thousands of troops, raising fears of a direct confrontation in the Caribbean basin. Meanwhile, the human cost of the drug trade continues to haunt the United States itself. At the end of the press conference, Rodríguez pointed to a graphic depicting overdose deaths in the US, a subtle reminder that the crisis is largely domestic in nature and not born in Venezuelan territory. After nearly an hour of charts, denunciations and questions, Rodríguez left the podium alongside Foreign Minister Iván Gil. The two walked briskly past reporters, leaving lingering images of Venezuela's leadership united against outside accusations. The cameras lingered on the graphics still flashing on the screen: overdose rates in the US, trafficking routes bypassing Venezuela, and the repeated insistence that the so-called Cartel de los Soles was nothing more than fiction. The Venezuelan government's strategy is clear. By framing US accusations as propaganda, it reinforces its narrative of resistance to imperialism. Rodríguez's use of the phrase "big farce" resonates with supporters who see Venezuela as under siege, while also providing a soundbite likely to circulate widely on international news wires. For the US, however, the allegations serve as a diplomatic lever bolstering the case for sanctions and military pressure. With Trump amplifying the threat of Venezuelan drug networks, Washington strengthens its justification for naval deployments in a region long seen as its strategic backyard. Caught between these competing narratives is the reality of regional drug flows. Independent reports suggest that while Venezuela may not be a primary producer, its porous borders and political instability have historically made it a potential corridor. Yet Rodríguez's point about the absence of Venezuela in official international reports raises legitimate questions about the accuracy and motivations behind Washington's accusations. The September 8th press conference in Caracas encapsulated the growing chasm between the United States and Venezuela. On one side, Washington frames Caracas as complicit in the global drug trade, deploying warships as a show of force. On the other, Venezuela's leadership counters with indignation, data, and the argument that the true motive is control of oil and territory.